The Dog and Deuce Show is produced by Dymar Productions in association with Studio B Productions.
Coming to you from the headquarters of Studio B in Salt Lake City, where our transfer request has been denied. This is Dog and Deuce number 120. On this episode, we've got viewer feedback. Plus, Kyle Beckerman gets injured. Nick Rimando is on the brink of history. And we'll debate whether Tiger Woods should play in the PGA Championship. Plus, Scott Mitchell is back in the spotlight. We'll tell you why. And is television ruining college sports? It's Dog and Deuce.
Hi, this is Keith Van Horn, and this is the Dog and Deuce Show.
From Studio B in Salt Lake City, this is Dog and Deuce. Join the conversation at doganddeuce.com or send an email to doganddeuce@gmail.com.
Episode 120 of the Dog and Deuce Show. Follow along with the show notes at doganddeuce.com.
You can call or text the D&D Show voicemail and text line at 801-477-7678. That's 801-47-SPORT. Send us an email to doganddeuce@gmail.com. I'm Dog.
And I'm Deuce.
And this is episode 120 of the Dog and Deuce Show. Brand new opening to the show. Brand new music.
Bringing it in lively.
Bringing it very lively.
I like it.
I'm digging it. Also, fall camp is going on right now for all three major schools here in the Wasatch Front. The Salt Lake Valley. Is that the proper term?
Extending, I think Wasatch Front was better.
Okay, Wasatch Front.
Because we got Cache Valley, Utah County.
Good point.
And Salt Lake County.
Man, that's something I should know, right? We do a local sport show,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
And I have a quick question for you. Okay, camp is notoriously difficult, especially for freshmen who don't know what to expect. What do you think, in all of sports, what would be the worst camp?
Ooh,
The worst
football's
training
got to be right up there.
Okay, all right. Football, NFL, or college, though?
Well, I think college.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, probably college because it's the big jump, if you will. I
Right.
mean, athletes are on a different level. They're so used to being the best. But I think you might be able to get away with more as far as kind of, I don't want to say hazing, but giving rookies grief in the NFL than in college. Maybe.
Well, okay. So there's that aspect of it.
That would be the worst part, I would
But
think.
I don't know, man. The workouts that they have to do are pretty tough. I mean, guys regularly vomit after these things. 2-a-days.
2-a-days.
I mean, and I just think if you're not paying your athletes, then you could probably treat them quite a bit worse, right? I mean, you're not going to want to yell and scream as much at a millionaire as you will for some kid who's fighting to get a spot on the team.
That's true. Oh man, that's a tough question. You hit me with one right out the gate. I got smacked in the face by a line drive.
Yes,
That's
what I do.
You are, dude. At the plate, you're fierce, man.
I am.
You do not want to be playing third base if Allen's at the dish.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'll go with you on college. I don't know though. I did start watching Hard Knocks last night. I don't know if you've caught up this year. They're with the Atlanta Falcons, and I mean, rookies get
They have
some
it pretty
grief.
tough.
I mean, there's been a lot of fights so far, and it's just episode 1.
Wow.
So I'm excited. I mean, anytime you see smart guys hitting each other in the helmet with their fists, you got to know you're going to inflict a lot of pain.
Well, the team that fights together or fights each other wins together, right?
That's what they say. I guess.
I guess.
According to you. I'm going with you. You're right out the gates. You're on fire.
But I got to say college football. It's got to be the toughest.
I mean, I agree. I don't know, though. 2-a-days are hard in anything. And, any level.
Well, I know some universities at least have gotten rid of the 2-a-days.
Right. And if you're Bronco, you don't practice in pads.
Okay, so maybe BYU fall camp is a little bit easier.
Possibly. Possibly. I'm just saying.
Yeah, do you like that? Do you like? I know that
No.
NCAA regulations. I think it's the first day or two you're not allowed to wear pads.
I'm all
but
about
the Bronco
the pads.
elects to take it a little bit further and keep the pads off when you could have them on. Absolutely, right? I mean, you have to have the pads on.
Got to have the contact. It's contact sport,
it's
man.
It's a totally different sport when you're not suited up and you're not hitting each other.
Right. And I think if you actually did some statistical research, which isn't my department. I think that's yours. I
think it's producer Milo's, which is why we're so off base all the time.
Absolutely. I think if you look at the first couple games of BYU as compared to as they progress, even though BYU doesn't hit in the pads during the regular season,
right?
Even I think the first few games, as they get acclimated to getting hit by other players who don't care about their well-being, I think you notice that the turnovers are vastly greater in the first few games of each year than they are as they progress and get used to getting hit.
I agree. I mean, it's definitely been a trend that I've noticed that it's a different team mid-season than it is at the beginning of the season, for sure. And that's why it's dangerous to schedule these tough teams right up front, but you kind of have to if you're dealing with an independent schedule.
Absolutely.
But next week we are going to have Phil Steele on, the legend Phil Steele. He publishes his magazine every year. It is the go-to magazine for anyone in the media, of course, college football fans all over the country, but it is the magazine. Every ESPN guy, every radio guy, every single one of your favorite sports personalities just rely on that. That's their source of information.
Right.
So we're going to have him on. We're going to pick his brain about all the local teams. We'll see what's going on in the national scene. So definitely stay tuned for that. This is Dog and Deuce. We are on KPDR TV, KPowder TV, channels 19.1 and 19.2. And as always, find us at doganddeuce.com. First order of business for the day, for episode 120, is Real Salt Lake.
Real Salt Lake.
Okay, we were both wrong here.
We were both wrong. Whoa. Don't quote me.
And we disagreed here.
Okay.
They played Colorado, big rivalry. I wasn't so sure they'd win because they had been struggling, and my big concern was, what can Jeff Cassar pull this team out as Jason Christ did every single year when they go through their mid-season slump? You were very adamant that not only were they going to beat Colorado, they were going to trounce Colorado. In fact, you did predict the shutout. I will say that, but you expected Real Salt Lake to score 3 goals.
I did.
3-0.
I did. And I was wrong. What can I say? There's a first for everything when it comes to Real Salt Lake. They got the 3 points. Look, upcoming DC United this Saturday, at home, at the Riot. Got to get loud, got to be proud. RSL is only 2 points back. Granted, they have they played 2 more games than the Seattle Sounders, but they're only 2 points back. The Supporters Shield,
which is incredible.
Yeah, we were talking.
A week or two ago.
Yeah, the 2 games in hand, though, can be tough coming down the stretch. But look, we were worried, and you were questioning, and you almost convinced me last week whether or not they were going to even make the playoffs. I stood firm.
Well, okay.
I stand strong in my cobalt and claret jersey that I'm not wearing tonight, but I knew they were, and they're back in the second spot.
Okay, look, I never said they weren't going to make the playoffs. I said that I'm getting a little worried because with the squad with a new coach, I just didn't know. I didn't know what we were going to be getting. It's things go great when you're winning. Everything's great. Your job is safe. You're getting along with your teammates. But when you face adversity, that really separates the boys from the men, so to speak. That separates, the good coaches from the great coaches, in my opinion. And so I just wasn't sure what we would get from Jeff Cassar. So I didn't say they weren't going to make the playoffs. I just wasn't. I was getting a little concerned,
nervous,
and I think that was a realistic.
Yeah, they got 12 matches left. They're in good position. The real question is, can they continue to overcome the injury bug? Javier Morales scored the only goal versus the Rapids. Can Olmes Garcia fill in, in some spot duty? Where are the goals going to come from? Sabario's still not back, and, they need to really have, even now more than ever, the team needs to play as a team and focus on getting quality opportunities. And when they get those opportunities, knock them in. And then, of course, you got to kind of rely on that we're probably not going to score as much as we have earlier in the year. So you got to rely on the doorstop, the backstop, the dude who shuts it all down, Nick Rimando. He got a shutout
he did
last Saturday versus the Rapids, which was monumental in what way?
It was well, it tied the record for all-time shutouts,
Right.
which is amazing. He's got one more shutout and he'll break the record, which is great. And I do want to hit on that. But first thing, I want to ask you a question. How in the world did Real Salt Lake win that game? Every single statistic possible, they got just beaten down. I mean, possession, I think Colorado had possession for 65% of the match. They had like 11 shots, or actually I think it was more than that. Real Salt Lake had like 4. Plus, not to mention, Real Salt Lake had 3 yellow cards and 1 red card, playing a man down for a good chunk of time. They should not have won that game. How did they win the game?
Early, they get the early goal, and this is the team. This is what we like to see. This is what we want to see.
Without a doubt.
Back against the wall, man down. Ref seems to be somewhat favoring Colorado.
Somewhat.
Hey,
okay, I'm biased.
I'm objective. You're biased.
Okay, I'm
call
very
you biased. I
Trust
call me objective.
Well, and we try and be objective with everything. We're Ute fans, but I think we're very objective when it comes to college football, and particularly with the rivalry. We've even had countless BYU fans tell us that over the years. With the Jazz, I am a Jazz fan, but I feel like I'm pretty objective. With Real Salt Lake, I'm not even going to hide it. I'm so biased, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't have answers on why. Sometimes the statistics lie. All that matters is when you get the opportunity, you knock it in. We did it early. And I think a lot of what I've seen from Real Salt Lake this year is they need to be the first team to score. Although they can chase, they're a lot better when they score, and it kind of gets the confidence and the energy, especially the energy. Although we saw maybe a little letdown in the second half there versus Colorado, the energy was there throughout the first half, putting pressure and defending. Really, when they get a goal, it seems like the defense gets super motivated to defend well.
You know what? That is a great point. I mean, you've seen it all year long with this team, definitely. That is a great point. So I do want to talk about Nick Rimando, though, because this is really an amazing thing that is about to happen in the next game, right?
Right. Well, it's going to happen in the next game. We should say congratulations on reclaiming the Rocky Mountain Cup.
Good point.
Almost as important as the Deseret Cup or the Deseret Boot. What do we get here nowadays? The Beehive?
The Beehive Boot.
The Beehive Boot. Thank you. I knew you'd know that. So that's an important, we always want to have that sitting out at Rio Tinto. If we can keep anything from Colorado, we try to.
Absolutely.
We try to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's a good get. A good win, especially Jeff Cassar first year,
And hopefully it's just hopefully there'll be more trophies stacking up as the season progresses and ends. 12 games left. DC United up next. I think he's going to break the record this week. What does the shutout mean to you? What does it say about his career, which we already know is decorated? He just played on the U.S. men's national team in the 2014 World Cup. Nick Rimando, what an accomplishment.
Definitely. I mean, and this guy he's kind of like our secret, I mean, everyone in the MLS community respects him for sure. I still don't think he got a real good chance to showcase his skills on the men's national team. I think he was third string. Okay, it's hard to argue Tim Howard being the starting goalkeeper, but I mean, again, I'm biased. I understand that, but I really think he could have. I've seen him save some harder shots than Tim Howard let go.
Yeah.
Just gonna say it, I'm
Wow.
not saying he's better than Tim
You're
Howard.
going deep here.
My brother actually ripped me apart. He doesn't even know who Nick Rimando is, by the way, but he ripped me apart. He's never seen him play, but he absolutely ripped me apart because I said, I've seen Nick stop some stuff that Tim Howard let slide by.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying he's better than Tim Howard. He is kind of like an unsung hero in the bigger community, the bigger soccer community. Here, everyone here in Salt Lake knows him, loves him. He's a treasure here, and he's phenomenal at what he does.
I mean, yeah, I think without a doubt I can say he's the best goalkeeper, in my opinion, in Major League Soccer.
Definitely.
And I think his connection from the community kind of comes about how he goes about his business. He's a pretty happy guy most of the time. And also, like RSL, working our way up the ladder, or the rings, if you will, of contender clubs, he's been with the club a long time and gone through a lot of growing pains. things weren't always great for RSL. They are good now and have been for the last, significant number of years. But he's kind of the underdog. He's not exactly what you would consider necessarily a prototype goalie based on height, but his reflexes are out of this world.
Definitely. And height has been the big knock on him.
Right. And so I think, the community, the larger community, relates to sort of the underdog. I got the skills, man. Give me the chance,
right,
and I'll shine. And, given the fact that he has, 100 and how many saves now, shutouts now?
It's 112. 112.
112 shutouts in his MLS career, most of those coming, for RSL, says a lot about it. And, I mean, if you're not a soccer fan, appreciate it. I know a lot of Americans say, oh, there's not enough goals in soccer. There's 1-1 ties or 1-0.
Right.
Shutouts are still hard. Whether you like it
really
or not,
hard.
They're extremely difficult to obtain. I mean, he's been sitting trying to tie this record since April, I think.
Right.
So, and he's one of the best goaltenders, in our country. So that says how difficult it is to get shutouts. So just, I think Real Salt Lake fans as a whole do, but just a friendly reminder, really appreciate what you have in between the pipes back there for Real Salt Lake. And they always do give him a standing ovation because he's going to get the record this week versus DC United.
I hope so.
I'm telling you.
And this is definitely worth noting. Kevin Hartman, who he is tied with right now, he got his 112th shutout after playing 50 more matches than, 52 more matches than Nick Rimando.
Right.
Nick Rimando did it in 52 matches. He did it faster than Kevin Hartman.
I mean, that's astounding.
It's
Think
insane.
about that.
It's insane.
He's at 112 shutouts in basically half the matches that he shut out less.
Right.
I mean,
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And I think it goes to how great he's been for RSL, and not only RSL when he played with Miami and DC United.
Right.
I mean, he's got a few MLS Cups to speak of, and not just with RSL. But
and the majority of those shutouts have come with Real Salt Lake.
That's true. What is the number? Like 78, I think?
It's something like that. I can't remember what it is.
It's a lot with RSL, but I mean, to do it for that long, that quickly, is an amazing accomplishment. And hopefully he has about 10 more of them in this year.
Right.
So we can rise up and win that supporter shield.
The dude is a beast. That's why we have a bobblehead of him sitting right here in the studio, and always will.
Always will.
Definitely. So yeah, that's great. Coming up though is DC United. This is a good squad. I'm not so sure he's going to get it here. This is going to be a very, very tough challenge. Let's see here.
Here's what you're not recalling, and let me tell you why he's going to get it this week.
Okay.
U.S. Open Cup last year, maybe even this year. I can't remember. We're on the verge of winning it, getting to CONCACAF again, which we so badly want.
Right.
I'm not sure whether the players of Real, the fans, and the management want us to get to CONCACAF again because we feel like that run was shut down a little early.
Yep.
Or win the MLS Cup more. I'm not sure which it is, but they knocked us out in the finals, beat us in our own park. Unacceptable. We're going to have a chip on our shoulder. Rimondo's coming to play. Beckerman may be hurt. He'll be there. Nasty feet and all.
Nasty feet and all, absolutely. DC United, they're a tough squad. Here's a question I have for you, and you may not know the answer to this. If he doesn't get it against DC United, the next match is a friendly against Tijuana. Would that count if he got it there? It would not count.
That will not count.
It's got to be an MLS play.
That's right.
Okay, gotcha. But you did allude to Kyle Beckerman is injured. He basically, I just look at it as he took a vacation during the MLS All-Star game.
Well, yeah.
That's it. He didn't want to play. Happens all the time. You see it with these with a lot of NBA players who have been invited to the Olympic team. Yeah, I don't really want to go. I don't even want to play. And I would much rather see someone sit out an All-Star game than sit out for the Olympics. But that's a whole other thing. YouTube hates us, and we'll hit on that a little bit later.
Absolutely. I mean, let me just give you a little bit of what Jeff Cassar said about how, and that's why I referred to nasty, how Kyle Beckerman's feet look.
Okay.
Here is the direct quote. We got to rest him. He played a lot in Brazil, blah, blah, blah. And so they said, had a difficult time describing what his feet look like. And he said, Jeff Cassar, quote, direct from MLSsoccer.com, so don't sue me. They just look nasty. Nasty, he said. So,
all right, well, there you go.
I mean, think about it, though. He's put a lot of mileage on him, whether it was training camp for the U.S. men's national team. Played in every match, the full 90, except for the final match that Team USA played.
Coincidence?
I think so, versus Belgium. So there's a lot of miles on him. He needed the rest. The team needs him. The team isn't the same without him in the midfield. And look, it's an honor to be at an All-Star game. You got to go there. You got to do the dance, if you will, so to speak. But you know what? The bottom line is club comes before MLS All-Star. And I think Beckerman, if he really could go and thought he'd be all right for Saturday, he would have gone. But I think, as he evaluated it, talked to the guys, at the team, he said, we need these points. Definitely. I need to make Allen, Dog, look kind of funny. And we need those points. I've been listening. He was doubting, and I'm going to put up 3 in a shutout this week.
Yeah, he's got to prove me wrong.
DC United.
He's got to prove me wrong. What can I say?
That's right.
I think if it was any other match, though, besides the All-Star game, like if it was an MLS match, 4 points, I think he definitely would be playing.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy is tough. He doesn't quit. And so I think that is why he sat out. I'm sure the feet are nasty. There's no doubt. And I'm sure the rest is much needed, but he's a tough guy, man. He's going to power through it. He's going to tough it out.
My question to you is, like, when your coach says that, couldn't you be like, come on, man, anything other than nasty? I mean, there's no pictures out of it. People now are just imagining what nasty feet look like. If you've seen some nasty feet in your life like I have, a.k.a. my own, you're concerned. I mean, these feet are like gold to RSL. We don't want them looking nasty.
Right.
Get that guy a pedicure, put him in some Epsom salt. Whatever you got to do to get those feet back ready for the match on Saturday, please do, Mr. Beckerman.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get him out there, man. We need him out there. You're predicting the shutout?
Yep.
A tie
I'm going
or
to say
win?
2-0.
2-0.
I'm going to drop down a goal.
All right. You learned
3
your
might
lesson,
have been a little optimistic.
You learned your lesson.
I'll take 2.
Right.
I'll take 2.
All right, 2-0. You heard it here first on Dog and Deuce on Gay Powder TV and doganddeuce.com. When we come back, we are going to talk about some comments that Bill Snyder made about the state of college sports and what is ruining college sports and what is kind of detrimental to its success and where we have gone astray. So stay tuned. That's going to be a great discussion. I can't wait to talk about it. We're going to play a quick bumper. Be right back.
We want to know what you think. Leave us a rating or review in iTunes. Just search for Dog and Deuce in the iTunes store.
That's right. Check us out on iTunes. Just search for Dog and Deuce, and you can download all the shows. You can leave us a rating, leave us a review. Really helps us out when people do that. It gets us in front of more people. So we appreciate everyone who has done that. Bill Snyder, your boy.
Kansas State. Second time around, 178 wins. He's coaching in the stadium that bears his name. That would be like, if Vince Lombardi came back and won the Lombardi Trophy.
Or Lavelle Edwards.
Lavelle Edwards rolled back into Provo. That's cool, first of all. Bill Snyder, by all accounts, is a winner. He's a coach. He's a teacher. Here's what he said. Tell me where you come down. And then I got some other thoughts I want to talk to you about. He said the concept of college football no longer has any bearing on the quality of the person, the quality of students. Universities are selling themselves out. That's the first quote, and I think it comes down to this right here. And I personally enjoyed this quote. Our professors, he says, I have an office I could swim in. They're in a cubbyhole somewhere. Yet they go out and teach and promote education every day, and I value that. Now, here's the question that I pose to you. First, do you agree with Mr. Snyder? I call him Bill because we're like that.
Yeah, you're like that.
Yeah. Do you agree with him? And secondly, why don't we hear this from – Bill Snyder's a well-respected name. Don't get me wrong. But you know what would really might help kind of swing the tide in favor of making sure they're student athletes? So the NCAA's rhetoric, which right now clearly seems to be not true.
Right.
The way they could make that true is if some real coaches from today's game who kids know. Not a lot of people, unless you're from Kansas really avidly follow college football or your kid's being recruited by him probably don't know what Bill Snyder's accomplished, the players he's put out, and who he is.
True.
Okay, so a lot of people hear Bill Snyder, and they're not really going to have name recognition right off the bat.
Sure.
But my question is, where are the Sabins? Where are the Urban Meyers? Where are the Will Muschamps down in Florida?
It's hard for those guys to complain. I mean, it's treated them well. The system has treated them well. They're in great positions. They're making truckloads of money. They're getting touted with glory and fame and all this good stuff. It's tough. And for someone to kind of spit in the face of that system, that's a brave thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. There is a great documentary that I watched recently. It's called Schooled, The Price of College Sports. It's on Netflix on demand or online or whatever they call it. I definitely recommend everyone go watch it. This thing is incredible, and it basically talks about this issue. I mean, obviously it talks about the paying players issue and all that stuff, but it really does talk about how academics doesn't matter to these schools, to these institutions, to the NCAA. I mean, they're going to tout the whole, we care about the student athlete, and they play up that title, student athlete, a lot, but that's a bunch of crap. 100%. This sport is driven by money, 100%.
Well, and maybe this is a little, maybe I'm so disillusioned that I'm come to the point where, you know what, I don't even care about, I do care, but the bigger part to me is helping young men become good men. And, we've seen examples of this, not only in NFL with Ray Rice, which we're going to get to. We got some feedback on that.
Right.
It's coming up. But also, I mean, we look at the Heisman Trophy winner from just this year, Jameis Winston, right?
Right.
He didn't get charged. He was exonerated in the sort of rape issue that he had during the season, which threatened to debacle Florida State's national championship season. I mean, it was a lot of the story in December and the lead up to the national championship game versus Auburn.
Right.
But not only did he not learn from that lesson, 4 months later, the guy is caught stealing crab legs from a supermarket.
Crab legs. Still one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard.
It is weird,
It's
but
incredible.
look, I've been a kid. I've been 19. I might have stole a bag of Doritos one day in my life. And if the cop came up to me and said, "Are you stealing those?" I'd probably say, "Oh, I forgot to pay for them," knowing damn well that I did not forget to pay for them. So to me, that story doesn't fly, but I'm going to take him at his word. Nonetheless, the point being, he didn't even learn his lesson from a serious possible charge and being part of a rape or whatever. To 4 months later, he thinks he can try this, attempt this, or forget to pay for something. I've never been in a store and forgot to pay for something unintentionally. My point being, we're not even raising, throw the academics out there. We're raising a generation and continue to raise generations of players who are not only entitled, but think the rules of society, a.k.a. laws, don't apply to them or shouldn't apply to them.
Right.
And I think for me, when I hear Bill Snyder say this, I think education is part of raising good young men and women. And Urban Meyer always talks about how that's his number one goal. You hear Nick Saban, they talk about how that's their number one goal. Yet they're not doing the things.
Okay. Hearing Urban Meyer say that with the arrest records of his teams at Florida, I don't buy it for a second. I'm sorry. That's his absolute last priority.
Right. Well, then who's going to have the cojones to call out some of these coaches and say, stand up for what you say?
Right.
Is it going to be you?
I'll do it right now.
Call them out.
Seriously, we know you're watching. Nick Saban, of course, you're Urban Meyer. We know you guys are watching it, of course. Everyone does. All the who's who of sports watches this show religiously.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. Come on. You've been preaching this crap. It's time for you to stand up. I'm looking at you, Roger Goodell. I know we're talking college, but Roger Goodell, unbelievable, man.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Stand up. Take a stand saying we're not going to put up with it anymore. We're gonna practice what we preach. We really want to be here to build good men, to build, men of character and integrity. Then do it. Do what it takes to make that happen.
And it kind of brings up a funny point about Georgia, University of Georgia football. UGA's the mascot name down there. I love it. UGA. spell it well. It's in my vocabulary.
Ugga.
Mark Richt, he's had a lot of arrests. He's the head coach down there. Had pretty good success. Hasn't won a national title, but he's had a lot of arrests this offseason. And he was asked about it at the SEC Media Day. Kind of knocked it off, but said things will happen. The typical spill, 18 to 20-year-old kids, they're going to make mistakes.
Right.
But he also went on to kind of extrapolate that the reason University of Georgia is getting all this bad press is because he actually disciplines them. And if he didn't discipline them, if he let it slide under the rug, this would be less known. And, Georgia, the University of Georgia and UGA's good name might not be run through the mud right now like it is.
I agree with him 100%.
Right. So is it fear of the program, reprisal to the program, or is it that they just really, I don't want to say they don't care about these young men because I hope to God they do, but
Sure.
Man, sometimes being a teacher means you got to be a little rough on someone.
Definitely. And you know what? I think most coaches do sweep it under the rug because it is bad press. It's bad publicity. And if they come out and on their own discipline these guys and suspend them for games, I mean, first of all, yes, it is giving you more bad publicity by making it public, for sure. But also there's so much pressure to win that if you're suspending big players, big name players, then you are going to lose more games. That's just plain and simple. And so I think it's a combination of those things. But there's no incentive for these guys to go public. None. There's what do they benefit?
Yeah, I mean, well, you could benefit by being a leader.
But I'm sorry, that's not measurable. They can't turn that into wins.
That's true. I mean, it is a bottom line game. We should compliment, and something we called for when the Jamal Williams arrest went down. It is clear now that the first game of the BYU season, he is going to be suspended. So I guess old Bronco just did a volley to Coach Whittingham saying, ball's in your court.
Exactly. Yeah.
Rivalry's
honestly,
still on. Rivalry's still on.
I was very happy to hear that because it is. It's exactly what we're talking about. It's practicing what you preach. You talk about wanting to develop these men into quality people, into men with integrity and character and all that stuff that I just said, and you follow through on it. Absolutely. And honestly, I want to give a lot of credit to Jamal Williams because he addressed the team and he basically said, I screwed up. I made a big mistake. It's not going to happen again. He owned it, and he made a promise and a pledge to his teammates not to let them down again. And I really respect that. I thought it was a great move.
And see, I think this is just my maybe old school mentality, but having the accountability of losing a game, possible loss for your team, you're one of the best players, having to stand up there in front of the other, 75 guys that you could let down maybe if you don't play in that game and they lose. That'd be a letdown. Is a driving force in reminding him that he doesn't want to put himself or his teammates in that situation ever again. So, I mean, kudos to Bronco for coming through how we hoped he would, practicing what he preaches.
Definitely.
And, not only will BYU be better from it, but so will Jamal Williams.
And obviously, and we've talked about this, BYU has a little bit tougher standard that they put on themselves with the honor code. And so it almost requires a suspension, whereas up at the U, what happened with Travis Wilson, they don't have to suspend him because they don't have the honor code.
But I think...
But they absolutely should.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, I got to imagine athletes are held to a higher standard. You sign a contract when you get a scholarship. I got to imagine breaking the law, getting arrested, is a violation of that.
It's got to be. It's got to be. And if they don't suspend him, then obviously we're going to call him out. I think everyone in the media is going to call him out because it's a big thing. He did break the law. Again, last week it may sound like I was a little soft on the issue. I do think kids are going to be kids, and they're going to, underage kids are going to drink. It's just going to happen. And he wasn't driving, so it wasn't that big of a deal. He didn't hurt anybody, but he still broke the law. Whether you agree with the law or not, he broke it, and he needs to be punished for that, not only in the judicial system, but it also needs to happen on the team.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying Travis Wilson or Jamal Williams should go to prison.
No,
Look,
of course not. Of course not.
They both made a mistake, and thankfully they didn't compound that mistake by getting behind the wheel and doing something really
you know
stupid.
You see that so much with athletes these days.
Right. But bottom line is, look, I'm looking for Coach Whittingham. Like I said, I think the ball's in his court. And we've talked about the lack of discipline on the team over the last few years, unnecessary penalties, foolish mistakes in important moments of games. And look, if you have to step up right here, it's versus Idaho State. You should be able to beat them with, pulling people off the sidelines.
Right.
You have to suspend him for at least one game.
Definitely.
Because you need to rein in the discipline issue that seems to be a problem the last few years, whether on or off the field at the University of Utah.
Definitely. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be covering it, and we'll keep you updated for sure. Coming up, we're going to talk about Tiger Woods. Should he play in the PGA Championship? A little bit later, we'll talk about Scott Mitchell. He's back in the spotlight. And we got some feedback that we're going to talk about. We got called out again. We get called out quite a bit by our loyal YouTube audience. We got a new YouTube page, by the way, which is youtube.com/DDonSports. So go ahead and check us out. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. That'd be really helpful. We'd appreciate it. Let's just play a quick bumper. We'll be right back. It's Dog and Deuce on K-Powder TV and doganddeuce.com.
Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Just search @Dog and Deuce.
We are on Twitter, of course. As always, you are @Dog and Deuce. That's the show's Twitter account that you handle just wonderfully.
I don't know if it's wonderful, but I'll take that as a compliment.
It's wonderful.
Argue, call, cry, yell, scream. Just make something happen.
All of it.
I'm ready.
Yeah. You better be ready.
I am.
Because we got some feedback later on that may change your mind.
I might have to change my mind.
And I am @A Martindale Film. So give us a little follow and let us know what you think of the show and the stuff we talked about. We really appreciate it. Okay, so let's move on, and I want to talk a little golf. A little golf for all the golf fans. It's summertime. You're out playing, swinging the sticks.
Right.
Trying to get your golf game, trying to fix that slice.
I just got my first 9 in. It wasn't as pretty as I would have liked.
Oh, it'll come. It'll come.
Yep.
So Tiger Woods is you think he's going to play in the PGA Championship? He's hurt again. He's always hurt.
Got hurt at the Bridgestone Invitational, a World Golf Classic event. Pulled out on the final day after the 9th hole tee shot. Back injury from what can only be described as an awkward landing into a bunker after a reverse somersault.
It's a perfect way to put it.
Exactly. So he got hurt, pulled out, and it was in doubt whether or not he'd be making the PGA Championship. But he is. He will be. And the question remains, how big of a force can he be this week at Valhalla in Louisville, Kentucky? You're, I'm guessing, going to say not very much of a force.
No, I don't. I mean, you don't think he will, right?
I don't ever question anything Eldrick does, except get hit while he's driving Cadillacs by a golf club. I mean, on the golf course is what I'm saying. The dude is a legend already. I still think he's going to catch Jack. I'm not sure if he's, in prime golf mode. I know he's not, so I don't know if he's going to be a contender this week, but I wouldn't be surprised.
He's going to have a very hard time catching Jack if he keeps coming back too early from his injuries.
That's true.
That's a big problem. I mean, when are you going to learn? I understand he's a competitor. We talked about Kyle Beckerman. He wants to get out there even though he's hurt. He just wants to win and play. But at what point do you say, you know what, I keep doing this and it keeps biting me. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's that old definition of insanity.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he thinks he's good, he's going to go. Competitors do what they do. I still think he's going to catch Jack. I know you don't. Who do you like this week?
No, I think he will. I just don't think he's going to do it anytime soon.
Well, he's got to in the next few years.
He has to if he wants to.
I think he's 38 years old, for heaven's sake.
Getting up there, man. Getting up there. This weekend, Rory McIlroy.
You're going with Rory McIlroy, coming off back-to-back wins after his British Open championship.
How can you not go with him at this point?
I mean, he called off his engagement with Wozniak, the tennis player, and now he just starts to win tournaments.
I almost said something. I'm backing off.
Woo! For once in your life, you thought before you spoke.
Yeah, for once, yes. Although that may have got me in more trouble. So we'll see. But how do you not pick him?
Look, I mean, he's obviously the front runner. Everyone's expecting big things. It'd be a big year for him. 2 majors, the British Open. One, he really wanted to win the British Open, considering he's from, Northern Ireland. That's kind of the one. I think if any golfer really wants to win the British, the beginning, the home of golf, etc., is the one you'd want to win, but especially holds, in the hearts of people of the UK. It's very held tightly, that tournament. So he won that one. If he could top it off with raising the Wanamaker Trophy, I'd be impressed, but I'm not. I'm going with Jordan Spieth. My dark horse is Steve Stricker because he hasn't won a major, and I like Steve Stricker because he plays Titleist.
Okay.
Adam Scott isn't out there. He also plays Titleist.
So, okay.
My winner is Marty Keimer.
That's your winner. So you're
Marty Keimer.
You're not going to do the cop-out thing where it's like, I like this guy and this guy and this
Look,
guy.
I'm telling you
and if any of them win, you're a winner.
Let me tell you. Okay, I'm picking Marty Keimer.
All right, Marty Keimer.
But I would love to see Jordan Spieth. Adam Scott's going to challenge. I think he's going to challenge.
One I can see.
He struggled on Sunday down the stretch at the Bridgestone Invitational, but he's going to challenge. Course fits his game real well. Steve Stricker, I would love to see. Love the guy. Love what he's given to the Ryder Cup, to Team USA, and he hasn't won a major yet. He's one of the best players to not win a major. I'd love to see Steve Stricker come through. All I know, Tiger, stay safe, get stronger, and appear in the World Cup in a month for Team USA. We need you.
Not in the World Cup.
Or not the World. Woo!
Woo.
The World
Big
Cup of
club.
Golf, also
Big
known
club.
as the Ryder Cup. Big. Oh, man. Like I said, anytime I can get over on an Englishman, I'm good to go. We need you in the Ryder Cup. Please stay safe. Don't tweak that back anymore. We need to bring it home.
Well, okay, I understand it's important to win majors. I understand that's the thing. But isn't the Ryder Cup a thing too? Like, isn't that something that you really want to win, really want to be a part of? Like, it's not just you against the world. You have teammates now.
Right.
And, we have one country. They have a whole continent. They still can't beat us.
Yeah, they get the benefit of a few extra countries.
Kind of ridiculous. But, hey, we got to level the playing field a little bit.
You got to.
Got to
Got to level the playing field. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, if he's not good enough to go, he's not. I don't think he's going to be automatically selected. He might have to be a captain's pick, but any which way, it's Tiger freaking Woods. And when he steps on the tee, although the intimidation factor might not be as high as it was when he was at his peak, it's still Tiger Woods.
It's still there. It's still there.
And,
he's still Tiger.
He's still got Sergio on lock and key no matter what. He's still
always
got Colin Montgomery, who will be crying over another missed putt, even though he doesn't play in the Ryder Cup anymore. I mean, he's still got some Europeans on lock and key as an intimidation factor. I hope he plays well. We'll see who comes down. I got Marty Keimer. You got Rory McIlroy. When the German pulls out over the Northern Ireland and wins the Wanamaker Trophy, I'm sending you a tweet.
Martin Keimer, huh?
Marty Keimer. It's Marty to me, Martin to you.
Just like, and we talked about this before, but just like Mike Jordan.
Mike Jordan.
He's
my boy.
You guys are tight.
And Tiger
you can call him Mike Jordan.
Tiger tells me not to call him Tiger. He says, call me Eldrick. That's what my friends call me. So I call him Eldrick, but I wasn't going to do that here.
Well, he watches the show, so he knows that you're calling him out.
Yeah, well, I ain't calling him out. I'm saying just stay safe. We need you on the Ryder Cup. If you can
we do
win,
need him in the Ryder Cup. That'd be nice.
If you can win, go for it. I mean, this guy won the U.S. Open on a broken leg. What's a back? It's a back.
A back, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's a back?
Right. It
Tore his
nothing.
ACL and won the U.S. Open. I hope he plays well. Golf's better when he's playing well. But I agree. I mean, Rory McIlroy's probably the favorite going in, given the way he's played after the British Open, back-to-back wins. We'll see. Should be an interesting week in Louisville, Kentucky, as most weeks are.
Oh, man. So I'm glad you didn't go with the cop-out, though, picking 3 dudes and just being happy with one of them.
Mine was who I want to win, who I won't be surprised to win, and who I'm picking to win. That's how I roll.
All right.
That's how I roll. Who I want and who I pick are different.
Oof.
I always want the Utes to win. Do you think I've ever bet against them?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Got to use some brains every once in a while, man.
Right.
You know?
Right. You'd be dumb to pick them.
Yeah, some days.
Exactly.
Some weeks. You never know.
All right. Oh, man, you're killing me. You and Mike Jordan.
Me and Mike.
All right, this is Dog and Deuce, Cape Powder TV, 19.1, 19.2, and doganddeuce.com. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher Radio and all those good fun podcasting app. So check us out. Give us a follow. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Give us a rating. Give us a review. I think I covered. Oh, no. Give us a +1, too. I think I covered all the social media stuff.
Yep.
You got to be safe. You never know who's on what. So, but yeah, we definitely love to hear from you. Love to interact with you. We're going to play a very, very quick bumper, and we're going to come back with some user feedback in which we just get lit up.
Yep.
It's Dog and Deuce.
What do you think? Call or text the TNT voicemail and text line at 801-47-SPORT and tell us what's on your mind.
The voicemail and text line, we absolutely love hearing from everybody who wants to interact with us there. It's 801-477-7678. That's 801-47-SPORT. Let us know what you think of the show. And I'm sure you'll have a bunch of stuff to say after we read this feedback that just burned us. This feedback is from YouTube. And let me just say for the record, YouTube hates us.
We're struggling, man.
YouTube absolutely hates us. On our old channel, we got lit up because we didn't like Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, no, it's not we don't like him.
Exactly.
Come on now, speak clearly.
We didn't like the fact.
Don't go Stephen A. on me.
All right, you're right. Okay, all right. We didn't like the fact that Rajon Rondo decided he didn't want to play on the Olympic team.
It's not even liking the facts. I can't understand it. But given what just happened to Paul George, maybe Rondo was right.
Right.
Maybe.
Okay, this is some feedback, though. Last week we talked about Stephen A. Smith, who made some comments regarding the Ray Rice suspension, or should we call it the Ray Rice slap on the wrist, from Roger Goodell.
Lack of suspension,
essentially. He got 2 games for knocking out his fiancée in an elevator and being caught on tape.
Right.
Yeah, only 2 games. Anyway, Stephen A. Smith, he went on air on ESPN's First Take, and he made some comments that we were not big fans of. And he did get suspended for these comments for a week from ESPN. I thought that was too lenient as well. I thought he should have been fired, but he brings in ratings, so that's not going to happen. Basically what he said, maybe we were a little too harsh in our summation of what he said last week. But basically he said, I don't ever condone anyone hitting a woman, but women shouldn't provoke men into hitting them.
Right. To say that just because you're provoked, you should be prepared. Just because someone provokes another person to be prepared for violence seems like it's continuing. And I don't want to say he's allowing for the cycle to continue, but it's not putting in perspective what's wrong with the situation. Sure,
right.
There's going to be bad people in life. There are going to be people who murder people for no reason, provoked or not. There are these people in society all over the world, not only in America. But the bottom line is, if we can stop the trend of violence that is pervasive not only in the sporting community, but in suburbs, the inner city, urban cities, countrysides of America alike, that's a goal everyone can be happy about, I would think.
Definitely.
So putting it on saying if you provoke someone, be ready for them to hit you, it just doesn't seem the right way to go about trying to end what is clearly becoming an epidemic.
It doesn't make any sense. It's counterintuitive, in my opinion. Obviously, the Memph10 on YouTube, that's his username, the Memph10, he obviously disagrees with us. And let me read this. I'm sure I'm going to skip over a few things because it is a pretty long comment. And we do really thank him for his comment. We really appreciate it. It is an important discussion to have. But he says, in this first part, I don't understand. I'm not even going to comment on it because it doesn't make sense to me. But it says, it's very sad that all these white people are trying to put words in Stephen A. Smith's mouth by saying he said it's right to hit women if a man is provoked or if a woman hits a man. This is not what Stephen A. was saying. What Stephen A. was saying is that it's wrong to hit a woman no matter what the situation. But let's be real. There's some men out there that don't care even though they know it's wrong to hit a woman. Stephen A. also said that there's some men out there that are just bad and will hit a woman for no reason and they should be punished. So if you go and look at the video and use your mind, definitely talking to you on that one. Use your mind. You will understand what Stephen A. was saying was it's wrong to hit a woman in any situation, but women must be mindful if they hit a man or get in his face, because even though it's wrong, there are men out there that will hit back, and that's just the truth. So get over it. In no way was Stephen A. saying it was right. Goodbye.
Well, the Memftana, we do appreciate your comments. 801-47-SPORT. Put it down in your own words, your own voice. Let it be heard. We'd appreciate that as well. Here's my only question is, when is enough enough? And if someone's going to do it anyway, then what does the person provoking have anything to lose? I mean, he's saying people are going to do it no matter what. Just be mindful. And I still don't know what provoking someone means. If that means physically assaulting someone, then technically, legally, you're allowed to defend yourself. Sure.
Here's the thing, man. No one, and I've heard a lot of pundits saying this, and a lot of sports radio callers, I mentioned this last week, who are saying this kind of stuff. First of all, they're saying, well, we don't know exactly what happened with Ray Rice and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened. He should never have hit her. He should never have raised his hands to her. But they also, say, well, the woman, no one's talking about what the woman's doing and her role in this. No one is saying it's okay for the woman to hit the man.
Right.
No one. No one is ever saying that. But it's such more damaging when a man hits a woman. That's why that's the issue we're talking about here. And my biggest problem with what Stephen A. Smith said was that it wasn't necessarily what he said. He said the right words to technically get him out of trouble, but the subtext of what he said was so much more powerful. It was basically saying, yeah, I don't condone it, but it's on women to not provoke men into it. Basically saying it's up to the women to avoid being abused.
Right.
Which is absurd and counterintuitive and just wrong.
Well, and he wasn't specific enough to know what provoke means. He didn't say, if a woman, it's up to a woman not to assault a man.
It's very open-ended.
I mean, does that mean if I yell at you, call your mother bad names, it's all right to hit me? Because that's provoking me.
And on a side note, and this is really stupid and really small, but, his name is Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
First name Stephen. Middle initial A, last name Smith, right?
Right.
Why are we calling him Stephen A?
Oh, man.
Why? This is so stupid, I know, but it bugs me.
The things in life, you're a tortured kid, tortured soul, man.
Oh, dude, my
I kind of like Stephen A.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
You do.
His name is Stephen.
Right.
So when we're talking to him in an informal situation, we're going to call him Stephen. Not Stephen A. People don't call me Alan R.
Maybe I will.
Maybe you will.
I'm going to.
Right? Yeah. You can go. Well, no, you shouldn't because that really bugs me.
Yeah.
But you don't do. That's not his name. Okay, I know it's dumb. It's dumb. But it's driven me crazy for years.
Find your zen.
I hear Stuart Scott be Stephen A. Tell us about what's going on. Stephen. His name's Stephen.
Yep.
Or Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith would be cool. He should change it to Mr. Smith.
I agree.
Like Prince.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do a name change.
Well, he's in
Meta
desperate
World
need of
Peace.
Yeah.
Changed his whole image.
I'm sorry.
Changed his whole image.
Meta World Peace. You're saying that was an example of a good name change, of a time to
Absolutely.
just go crazy with your name.
Absolutely.
Run our test. Nah. Let's go Meta World Peace.
Dude, awesome.
I don't even know you.
I know.
I don't even know you.
I know. It's late in the night.
I have lost all respect for you.
Meta World Peace is one of the greatest names I've ever heard.
You're out of your mind.
You know who it is?
Yeah, it's crazy Ron Artest.
Even people who don't know what basketball is. You could say Ron Artest to someone and they might or might not know. You say Meta World Peace and they say, oh, Ron Artest?
I'm not sure that's a good thing, though, because he's crazy.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. It was awesome.
He was one hell of a ball player.
It was awesome when he was in the Palace and charged up in the stands and started beating up fans. That was pretty
awesome. I
awesome.
don't condone violence of any sort.
Well, it wasn't a woman, so it's okay. Yeah.
Might have been provoked.
Yeah. Well, he was provoked. He was sufficiently provoked. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beer throwing, that's provocation.
It is. But you see what the problem is when you set that precedent is that he went after the wrong dude.
Exactly.
The
Mistakes
wrong dude.
happen.
Right. Exactly.
Provocation eliminated.
Not cool, man. Absolutely not cool. This is Dog and Deuce, Cave Powder TV, 19.1, 19.2, and dogandeuce.com. We're also on iTunes and all those other great places, Stitcher and everything. We're going to play the quickest bumper we have in our repertoire, and we will be right back.
This is Dog and Deuce.
It's Dog and Deuce on K-Powder TV and doganddeuce.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's episode 120, if you can believe that. We are getting up there. We are showing our age.
Yes, we are.
4 years have been the longest 4 years of my life.
It's a horror business, man.
It is a horror business. Those watching on TV or YouTube will know what we're talking about. Scott Mitchell.
Last but not least,
Scott Mitchell.
Utah
definitely.
Ute legend, Hall of Fame inductee Scott Mitchell, going to be reappearing on your television screen. This time, although he may be throwing footballs, that's not exactly what he's going to be doing.
He's going to be doing something much, much different.
Much more important.
I'm not sure he can throw a football anymore. He is 366 pounds. He has said enough is enough with the weight. I'm going to do something about it. And he's going to go on television, The Biggest Loser, and try and lose that weight. With a show called The Biggest Loser, I understand it's trying to be a motivational thing. People are trying to better their lives. But it's still kind of borderline making fun.
And there's kind of a pun there, if
Definitely,
you will.
definitely.
You know, like The Biggest Loser, what exactly
like you're
does
fat,
that?
so you're a loser. But
Right.
Oh, no, they're losing weight. Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
it comes off that way to me, at least.
Sure.
And, another thing that I want to give, Scott Mitchell kudos for is I'm sure not everyone's going to have the same opinion we do about his method to try to lose this weight. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of grief, if you will, whether
Sure.
it's angry Detroit Lions fans from 1996 or who haven't forgotten about it, or, Ravens fans from his 15 passes in 2000.
As far as success goes on the show, they're gonna kill it. I mean, they've already been athletes. Unless this thing is filled with athletes, which it may be a celebrity thing, but it may be an athlete thing too. If it's just them, they know the workout regimen. They know what it takes to get in shape, and I think they can do it. It's just a matter of getting back into that lifestyle.
Right. There could be some interesting dynamics because the trainers on these shows are obviously type A personalities. And
Well,
these
Jillian Michaels, I think she's still on it, but I know she was on. She's pretty ruthless, man.
Right. Well, these guys are pretty ruthless too.
That will be really the fun dynamic to watch. That'll be the best part of this whole thing is how are these guys who have been through the ringer? They've seen guys like this. They've seen coaches like this before. This isn't their first rodeo. They know what they're getting into. How are they going to respond to those guys?
Right.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that.
It'll be interesting to watch.
Definitely. So we'll see how William S. Mitchell does on this show. We love William S.
That's right.
Anyway, this is Dog and Deuce, K-Powder TV, channels 19.1, 19.2 over the air, and doganddeuce.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. That's going to do it. We're going to wrap up the show. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, lots of ways to do it. We're on every single social media site out there. So make sure to give us a follow, like, thumbs up, all that other stuff. And in the meantime, we always invite you to call or text the D&D Show voicemail and text line at 801-477-7678. That's 801-47-SPORT. Or send us an email at doganddeuce@gmail.com. I'm Dog.
And I'm Deuce.
And we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening.